Ally McBeal was a great show I think it was in the 80s that I loved watching. And they had the funniest little scene in there to the Ooga Chukka song of a little naked baby goes running through the house with Ally McBeal. And it was the funniest thing in the world. And as I worked on that memory, that panic attack memory, instead of hiding behind a chair, it just somehow blended with the Ally McBeal scene. And now it's funny. Like I think of that back then when I'm 3 and I hear the song playing from Ally McBeal. I see the Ooga Chukka baby and it's just funny. It's become silly. It's not, there's no panic. There's no anxiety. There's no need to hide. There's just laughter. And that's what brought me on this journey. I started working on my own memories using these techniques. And then when things work for me, I want to share it with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say, yeah, that's, in fact, I would say that that's probably the correlation here between us, is that that's what's led me on this path too. So I can 100% understand that. But what I would like to know about is what, if for those that maybe don't know or are in the path of that we are on, perhaps like on the way there, of discovering their path, so to speak, what would you say was a sign for those maybe thinking they might be having panic attacks, or they might have grown up with panic attacks? What is it? What were some giveaways of that you were experiencing that now that you look back at it?
Yeah. So I would get simultaneously hot and cold. I don't know how to, and my heart would start racing. I felt like I had to hide.
Yeah.
I had to hide. And, I have some pretty clear memories when I was in my 20s when they were at the worst in my early 20s.
Right.
And I remember like I would be in a corner of my apartment just crying, shaking, and unable to cope with life. Like everything felt too big. I couldn't breathe. I'd cry, and I was unable to think rationally. I just needed to get away. It was this pervasive feeling of needing to get away.
It's interesting you say that in your 20s, it got at its worst, because for me, that was the case. In my mid 20s was when for me, I really noticed, oh, this is really, this is getting more heavy. And for me, the way that I would describe the panic attacks would be, in fact, I still once in a while still experience it. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and this rushing thought of, I should be asleep right now. What if I can't get to sleep? And then it's just this like cycle, and this what do you call it, snowball effect, where it just gets like my heart starts going, feels like my heart's going to explode. And then I have to like, the only way I've figured out how to kind of turn it off, and the only way that I can is to convince myself that I'm not going to sleep right now, that like I'm awake. And then I go and do something for a few minutes, like maybe 10, 15 minutes. And then once I'm convinced subconsciously that I'm awake now, then that goes away. But that's something that developed in my mid 20s. And I don't know if I'm still trying to figure out what the source is, if it's the conflict of adulthood and then like the childhood things kind of mixing and then amplified by the stress that adulthood brings on. I don't know if it's that, but my mid 20s was probably where it really amped up and is slowly coming back down. But in my mid 20s was also when I experienced that. Yeah.
For me, that was when I was 20, my parents and I and most of my family, we became estranged, or no contact, whatever you want to call that. We ceased to have anything to do with each other. And the first couple of years I was okay. I dealt with it. But then we're out in 23, 24. I started to have massive panic attacks. I mean, it amped up. Like it was almost constant. So I know what it was about then. And that went on for 13 years until we were able to mend our fences. So
saying, speaking on that, if you don't mind, can I ask about what it was like for you growing up? Did you have a lot of siblings? Were you an only child? What was childhood like?
So I have a younger sister, and my parents were really young when I'm the eldest. My mom was 19 when I was born, and my dad 23. So I remember there's some really good memories, but I also remember there were a lot of fights. They would fight at night a lot. And that, I think, contributed to panic attacks and anxiety, and simply because, and as I work with, the more people I work with, the more I find this is, for some reason, as children, we always feel like it's our fault. If we were just better, if we said the right things or did the right things, we were able to control everything perfectly, that wouldn't happen. And it's simply not true. My parents had a tremendous amount of stress. I was unplanned, and they were doing the best they could. New house, new family, they did the best they could. And unfortunately, we're just not taught how to deal with emotions. Most people turn to, drinking or smoking, and they're not really good coping skills.